Not once did I find anything objectionable in what I witnessed. Working while having fun was all I could see. Mrs. Cosby dropped by the studio quite a bit. She frequented the area. I observed that. In the late 80s and early 90s, millions of people saw The Cosby Show for more than just a popular sitcom. Culturally, it was significant. Phylicia Rashad's portrayal of the witty and shrewd matriarch Claire Huxtable, one of the most admired mothers on television, was crucial to the show's success. With humor and emotion, the sitcom changed the way African American families were portrayed. Rashad is contemplating the hidden reality at the age of 77. She recently gave several very uncommon interviews in which she discussed the show's image, the set dynamic, and the intricate. In the wake of Bill Cosby's death, this is her first time letting us in on the secret life that goes on behind the scenes. A character defined by difficulties, devotion, and subtle power. It takes grace, purpose, and the ability to carry history in your voice to play Claire Huxtable, as Phylicia wisely noted, and I couldn't agree more. Phylicia Rashad is more than just a beloved actress. She is a powerful icon. That sense of gravity, that dignity in her voice, that elegance in her posture, and that depth behind her eyes is what has made her so iconic. To understand why Phylicia Rashad is so influential in American culture, and why generations of people still revere her, we must go back to her humble beginnings. There was a young girl from Texas, shaped by music, language, and the belief that art could elevate the human spirit. Her early life and childhood were influenced by Phylicia Ives Allen was born on June 19, 1948, in Houston, Texas. She was the second of 4 children in an exceptionally gifted and academically motivated family. Her mother, Vivian Ives, was a poet, playwright, and academic who instilled in her children a deep appreciation for literature, culture, and the arts. Andrew Arthur Allen, her father, was an orthodontist who placed a strong emphasis on discipline, education, and good health. Her childhood was filled with creativity and ambition, despite her parents' divorce. Her sister Debbie Allen would become a famous choreographer and director. Their home was a safe space for expression, full of books, music, and conversations that encouraged them to think critically and dream boldly. Unfortunately, this was not the case in modern times. During Phylicia's teenage years, her mother Vivian took her children to Mexico to escape the racism of the Jim Crow South and expose them to a different world where their talents could be nurtured without the limits of segregation. This bold move helped shape Phylicia's overall view of the world and herself. From an early age, Phylicia knew she was black, even though Houston in the 1950s and 1960s was not always welcoming to black excellence. The Ayers Allen household refused to shrink from confronting racial inequality. Destined to be on stage. Whether it was singing, dancing, or acting, she threw herself into it all. But the stage, she felt, was the most sacred of all, the place where truth and story could meet. In 1970, she graduated with honors from Howard University with a degree in theater, and she dove headfirst into the professional world. Howard had a pivotal role in molding her into the woman she would later become. Before becoming a household name on television, Phylicia earned her stripes in theater. Her early work on Broadway included roles in Dreamgirls, The Wiz, and Ain't Supposed to Die, A Natural Death. It wasn't just a college, but a crucible for black excellence. She studied under luminaries and developed a powerful stage presence that commanded attention. There, she honed her voice, mastered her craft, and developed the intellectual rigor that would distinguish her work for decades to come. Not only that, but she also dabbled in more classically grounded plays like Greek tragedies and Shakespeare, an opportunity that very few black actresses had at the time. In the late 1970s, she married Andre Rashad, an NFL player and sportscaster, for her third marriage. Despite the breakup of her marriage, The surname became a symbol of her power, intelligence, and elegance. On stage, she became known for being both technically gifted and emotionally present. With an uncanny knack for inhabiting parts that were profoundly relatable and emotionally impactful, she was, in many respects, a trailblazer as a black woman on Broadway, delivering multi-layered performances in environments where people of color were still frequently perceived with suspicion. What set her apart wasn't merely her acting abilities, but her magnetic presence. She exuded an air of subtle elegance that begged for respect without being overbearing. Whether in a classroom, a rehearsal room, or on screen, her words carried weight, and her innate talent for portraying maternal figures, spiritual guides, counselors, and teachers made her an ideal choice for parts that called for an air of refinement and royalty. As her career flourished, she didn't just take, she gave back. In the 90s and aughts, she was a theater world-respected director, directing productions of August Wilson's plays, such as Gem of the Ocean and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, with great deftness, and she returned to Howard University as Dean of the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts. It's safe to say that generations of black performers have looked up to her. She mentored, encouraged, and taught hundreds of students, many of whom have succeeded in theater, film, and television. It was a full-circle moment that underscored her dedication to fostering the next generation of black artists. As dean, she stressed not only artistic excellence, but cultural responsibility, encouraging students to view their work as contributing to a larger narrative. She has had an enormous impact in this area, and her illustrious career is unmistakably adorned with numerous accolades and awards. Phylicia has amassed a number of honors that attest to her genius throughout the years. For her portrayal of Lena Younger in A Raisin in the Sun, which she won in 2004, she became the first black woman to win the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. A role model for others to follow, she has won and received numerous honors and accolades, including the Lucille Lortel Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in 2016, as well as BT Honors and nominations for Drama Desk. Phylicia's appointment as Dean of her alma mater's College of Fine Arts in 2021 marked a new chapter in her leadership and educational career. Despite the industry's fixation on youth and novelty, Phylicia has managed to stay timeless, continuing to act in film and television with recent roles. In films like Creed and Soul, as well as series like Empire, This Is Us, and David Makes Man. In all of these, she brings the same grace, insight, and emotional accuracy that characterized her earlier work. Her significance extends beyond her performances. In this era of social media, cultural conversations, and racial reckoning, she stands as an example of aspired excellence that many, particularly black women, look up to. She is unapologetically black, unapologetically intelligent, and firmly rooted in her spiritual and cultural background. Phylicia Rashad is more than just a resume. She is an icon because of what she stands for. In a world full of superficiality and shallowness, she helps us remember the strength that comes from being thoughtful, patient, and graceful. Many people look up to her, especially black women, who see in her the embodiment of strength without ego, elegance without bravado, and intelligence without pretense. Rashad is the type of elder that every community needs, someone who has been there, done that, and now guides others with integrity. From Houston to Broadway, primetime television to university leadership, her journey is more than just a career, it's a legacy. Despite the adulation and respect she receives, there is another side to Phylicia's story, one that is more complex, controversial, and intricately linked to one of the most beloved and troubled shows in television history. To fully grasp her legacy, we must delve into the role that brought her worldwide fame, The Cosby Show, and examine what it was like to be a meaning, the price of being the embodiment of a dream based on complex realities. It must be borne in mind that Phylicia was already a formidable presence before the world encountered Claire Huxtable. The contentious Cosby Show, which shaped an entire generation and had multiple impacts on Phylicia. In the late 1980s, American television was teetering on the brink of a monumental cultural transformation, the magnitude of which could scarcely have been anticipated. His transformation originated from The Cosby Show, a sitcom that was built around comedian Bill Cosby's vision of a loving and prosperous black family. What followed, embodying that vision, was a phenomenon on a national scale. The Cosby Show became one of the most popular and groundbreaking television shows of all time, changing the way Americans saw black families. Phylicia Rashad, who played Claire Huxtable with unparalleled grace, intelligence, and emotional depth, was at the center of this groundbreaking portrayal. In the 1970s, black families on television were usually portrayed in hyper-stylized dramas that failed to adequately explore class, intellect, and family structure, or in working-class shows like Good Times or Sanford and Sunday. While these shows did offer important visibility, they rarely focused on the view of a professional, stable, upper-middle-class black household. Bill Cosby's desire to present a positive and realistic portrayal of a black family as one grounded in love, discipline, and upward mobility led to the creation of The Cosby Show. At first, network executives at NBC were skeptical that audiences, particularly white ones, would embrace a show about a successful black man and his family, but Bill had a different vision for the Huxtables, a sitcom that would reflect his own life as a college-educated, successful black man raising children in a two-parent household. The parents would be professionals, a doctor and a lawyer, and the children would be distinct individuals, with humor stemming from love rather than dysfunction. Bill Cosby insisted that the show's foundation be based on authenticity and subtlety, not caricature or slapstick, and the family that did not fit into familiar media tropes continued to be the basis of a cultural phenomenon. When casting the show's matriarch, Claire Huxtable, producers faced a formidable challenge: finding an actress who could portray strength, sophistication, and charm. At first, the part was supposed to be that of a stay-at-home mother, but after Phylicia auditioned, that was changed. Her presence was undeniable, and the actress had to exude warmth and humor while still holding her own against Bill Cosby's magnetic presence. Phylicia arrived with a wealth of theatrical experience, which enhanced her performance. She wasn't merely performing for an audience. She was embodying a type of woman that had seldom been seen on television. Her intelligence, poise, and confident movement and speech transformed the producer's vision of Claire. Rumor has it that after viewing her audition, Cosby rethought the role as a lawyer, transforming Claire from a nurturing housewife into an equal intellectual partner in the Huxtable household. And it was obvious from the opening scene that she was playing Claire Huxtable. The Cosby Show debuted on NBC on September 20, 1984. By the end of its first season, it had become a smash hit, ranking third in the Nielsen ratings. By the end of its second season, it had risen to the top spot, where it stayed for 5 consecutive years, an unprecedented achievement for any television program. The show's appeal was widespread and immediate. Black viewers identified with the Huxtables in a manner they seldom had before. White viewers witnessed a black family life that challenged conventional narratives, but the Huxtables weren't anomalies. They were just a well-developed, relatable family that happened to be black. The show's brilliance lay in the fact that it was culturally specific while having universal themes. Phylicia Fierro's portrayal of Claire Huxtable was captivating. She was more than just a TV mom. She was the TV mom of her time. And Claire was a brilliant, successful attorney who juggled her career and family life. The brownstone, the jazz records, the sweaters, the dance sequences, and the sincere conversations all contributed to the show's iconic status. Motherhood without compromising her poise or power. She wasn't just her husband's silent partner or supporting character. She was just as funny, strong, and talented as Cliff. Claire's versatility as a partner, parent, professional, disciplinarian, and romantic was what made her stand out. She had great chemistry and mutual respect with Bill, and her scenes with the kids were heartwarming. The way Phylicia portrayed Claire, a strong woman who demanded respect without resorting to yelling or harshness, but with an intellectual command that made every word count, became legendary on television. Claire spoke the truth with calm authority, and that impression stuck with people. The show wasn't only entertaining. It had a profound impact on many young black women of the 1980s, who saw a new version of themselves in Claire. Beyond its ratings success, The Cosby Show transformed the cultural narrative surrounding black families. The Huxtables, in particular, broke the mold of the broken black home and presented an alternate reality, one that had always been there, but had seldom received media attention, with Claire's character, who fought against the stereotypes of the helpless, silent black woman and the controlling, emotionally distant mother. Rather, she exemplified a new kind of black femininity, loving but firm, beautiful but grounded, commanding but tender, and served as a role model for young black viewers across the nation. The Huxtables made college seem more attainable, marriage looked more fulfilling, and parenthood was portrayed as a journey of self-discovery rather than a destination to be feared. Growth and love instead of struggle and survival. Thursday nights became holy for many families, a time to come together, laugh, and be seen. The show also had real effects on education. During its peak, The Cosby Show was said to have increased applications to historically black colleges and universities, mostly because it consistently celebrated black academic excellence and portrayed college life in a positive light. It made black success feel normal, not just aspirational. Cast members have often remarked about the family-like atmosphere behind the scenes, in which Phylicia played a significant role. Off-camera, she was more than just an actress reading lines. She was an essential cog in the wheel of the show's tone and message, famed for her professionalism and presence on set, and, as the seasons went by, her. While Bill Cosby was the show's creator and star, Phylicia brought balance and carried its heart. Throughout the show's 8 seasons, 1984 to 1992, she became a national symbol of maternal wisdom and black professional womanhood. She received Emmy nominations and NAACP Image Awards for her work. But more than that, she made sure Claire never slipped into a supporting role, always remaining the show's intellectual and emotional backbone. Claire Huxtable is still held in high esteem as an example of exceptional television writing and acting, and her legacy lives on in the shows that bear her name, from classics like The Cosby Show and Blackish to more contemporary dramas like This Is Us. Many viewers looked up to her as a mother figure, aunt, teacher, and guiding light in their lives. Phylicia Rashad was the show's moral compass, intellectual anchor, and emotional core. For 8 years, she helped millions of viewers reimagine what black womanhood could look like. She wasn't flawless, but she was fully formed, and that alone was revolutionary. Her presence on screen carved out space for countless portrayals of black women that followed. Through the show, America saw a black family that was layered, loving, humorous, and undeniably human. Phylicia Rashad's portrayal of a mother delivering a stern lecture to her children, a quiet moment with her husband, or arguing a legal court case is truly remarkable. The following chapter of The Cosby Show's story is more difficult to tell because of the controversy surrounding Bill Cosby. This caused many to reassess the show's values, which had an impact on the cast, particularly on her. The controversy cast a shadow over the show's legacy and had a lasting impact on Phylicia Rashad and the rest of the cast. Sadly, In the years after its finale, particularly in mid-2010, the show's legacy was irretrievably tarnished by a string of accusations and legal battles that dragged its creator and star, Bill Cosby, into public disgrace. What ensued was not merely a fall from grace for one man, but a collective reckoning for the cast, fans, and for a wider audience. The Cosby Show had stood as a remarkable cultural beacon of black excellence for nearly a decade, a groundbreaking depiction of a stable black family filled with love and humor. It changed the landscape of American television and inspired a generation. Society that had put so much stock in the show's portrayal. Phylicia Rashad was one of the most hit. Her portrayal of the elegant and wise Claire Huxtable had earned her admiration for years, but now she was caught in a storm that she hadn't caused and couldn't get out of. Rumors and whispers had been circulating for a while, but the real storm started in 2014 when Hannibal Buress publicly accused Bill Cosby of molesting him during a stand-up routine in Philadelphia. Women from all over the nation came forward with accusations of sexual misconduct, use of harmful substances, and worse accusations spanning from the 1960s to the early 2000s, as the media swiftly picked up the story and the narrative snowballed. Within weeks, decades-old claims of sexual assault resurfaced, some newly filed, some previously dismissed, or settled privately. Even to his admirers, the volume and consistency of the allegations were shocking. In 2015, he was already facing criminal charges in Pennsylvania in relation to an incident involving Andrea Constand, a former employee of Temple University. In 2018, he was found guilty on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. In 2021, a legal technicality, unrelated to the case's merits, led to the overturn of his conviction. While Bill's conviction was eventually overturned, the damage to his reputation and the show's legacy had already been done. The cast of The Cosby Show, including Malcolm Jamal Warner, Tempest Bledsoe, Sabrina Labow, and Kishia Knight Pulliam, had their defining work viewed by the public through a suspicious, sad, and confused lens. As a result, the show was pulled from syndication by TV Land, Balance TV, and other networks. Took reruns out of rotation. Royalties dried up. What had once been a source of pride and a body of work that represented family unity and culture was now seen as radioactive, and nobody wanted to be associated with it. Some cast members stayed quiet. Others, like Malcolm Jamal Warner, spoke out cautiously, expressing grief for the victims and mourning the loss of a legacy that had been significant to many. He said in an interview from 2018, "Everything we accomplished, the mark we made, the opportunities we created, it all seems eclipsed now." Still, no reaction received more attention or more scrutiny than that of Phylicia Rashad. Phylicia's initial response to the allegations was firm and controversial. In a 2015 interview with Showbiz 411, she dismissed the growing accusations, saying, "Forget these ladies. In my opinion, this is a planned effort to wipe off a legacy." As more evidence surfaced and a criminal conviction was handed down, Phylicia's continued defense of Bill became a flashpoint. When his conviction was overturned in 2021, many were stunned. A woman long admired for her poise and advocacy had, in the eyes of critics, abandoned victims of sexual violence. Some saw her comments as a betrayal, especially considering her status as a role model for women, especially black women. "At long last, a horrible injustice is being stated," she tweeted. "A case involving an injustice has been resolved." Students and faculty at Howard University, where she had been appointed dean of the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts, were quick to demand accountability after her statement sparked backlash. Many felt it mocked survivors' experiences and sent a troubling message to the youth she was leading. I completely endorse survivors of sexual assault coming forward. She clarified her stance in a statement she released a few days later. Despite the validity of their points, my post was never meant to be offensive. What transpired with the Cosby Show wasn't merely a celebrity scandal. It was a collapse of cultural norms. Howard University said in a statement that reaffirmed its dedication to survivors, but did not call for disciplinary action. Audiences were now dealing with cognitive dissonance. How could a show that meant so much and helped so many be created by a man capable of such alleged harm? What did this mean for the rest of the cast, too? The Huxtables had been a beacon of hope, progress, and possibility for decades, providing a welcome respite from a media landscape that all too frequently portrayed black life in narrow strokes. For Phylicia, the matter became even more intricate. As the show's moral compass, she had become the object of people's trust. Her defense of Bill Cosby was perceived, whether correctly or incorrectly, as a rejection of truth, responsibility, and suffering. This divided her longtime fans. Could art be divorced from the artist? Could the actress who played Claire Huxtable still be a symbol of strength if she seemed unaffected by the pain of others? Neither question has an easy answer, and is still unanswered. Phylicia has mostly stayed out of the spotlight since the controversy peaked, but she has maintained her position as dean at Howard, and many students still praise her leadership, mentoring, and campus presence. Her most recent acting roles in shows like This Is Us or films like Creed are accompanied by commentary about her past remarks. Credit to her for not doubling down like some public figures have. Her 2021 apology stopped short of a retraction, but it acknowledged the hurt caused. However, the shadow of the scandal still lingers whenever she appears in interviews or public panels. Questions about Bill Cosby are inevitable. Everyone in the cast agrees on one thing: the scandal has quietly complicated their careers. Some have distanced themselves, while others have stayed loyal but silent. She has remained poised as always, but more guarded. Maybe finally understanding that public perception is no longer on automatic pilot. A deeper and more painful conversation about legacy, power, and harm has been forced by what happened off-screen, but it does not erase the impact of The Cosby Show on millions of people. Cultural critics, scholars, and fans have all grappled with the question of whether the show should still be remembered or watched. Some contend that the show's influence on black representation, education, and identity cannot be erased by the crimes of one man. Others believe that the show's continued airing is disrespectful to survivors, and a painful reminder of the hidden truth behind the scenes. As a result of the show's unique place in black cultural history, the stakes feel higher in this debate, which is not exclusive to The Cosby Show, but echoes similar ones about problematic figures in film, music, and literature. Many people can hold two truths at once: that the show was undeniably important, and that its creator caused irreparable harm. This is especially true for those who saw themselves reflected in the show as children. The Huxtables, that complexity is tragic but essential. Phylicia Rashad is still a legend in many respects. Her influence has rippled far and wide, and she is still teaching, acting, and speaking, though maybe with more restraint now that she's been the center of controversy over The Cosby Show. The admiration I once had for Phylicia Rashad has become a more mixed bag of reverence, disappointment, empathy, and criticism. She is more than Claire Huxtable. She is a woman who has seen an empire rise and fall, defended an indefensible man, and stands firm in her beliefs, no matter how contested they are. What are your thoughts on her story? Share them with us in the comments. Thank you for your time and consideration. Check out more thrilling videos by clicking the play button on the screen. Show your support by liking, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon to be notified when a new video is uploaded.